All right. Good evening, everybody. It is, or good afternoon, everybody. It's Big Cheds. I'm coming to you live on November 23rd, 2023. I'm just doing a quick update here on YouTube. I haven't streamed in a while, but I wanted to just test things. I'm seeing what's working. It looks like the screen is blank, but we're going to see. So this is kind of just a test stream for now. We'll see how it goes. Oh, there we go. Now we're looking pretty good. All right, so folks, just hang out here for a minute. We're going to try to fill up the room. We'll get you here for, we'll get you kind of going. So for you who are brand new, I want to recommend that you go to my YouTube channel. You're here, Cheds Trading. You want to check out the masterclass webinar playlist. I just have like a really wonderful library of content for you. I also have quick market updates, which is what this will go into, the quick market updates playlist. And then there's also like the Twitter Spaces where I cover, I upload the Twitter Spaces, lots of great conversations with new traders. I've got learning videos. I've got Trading Wisdom, my best-selling book. You can check it out on Amazon, and there's a free version of that available. So there's a lot of great stuff here on YouTube. So just go ahead and say hi in the chat room. I'm just playing around with things. I'm trying different streaming software, so I don't have all the bells and whistles with the one I was using before. So I just wanted to touch base and say hi to everybody. So I'll talk about Bitcoin a little bit, and then maybe we'll do some requests. So go ahead and, fire into the chat room if there's anything you folks, want me to look at or you want to talk about, and, we can address that. So we've got Bitcoin up here on the daily chart. I'll just do a little bit of I'll do a little bit of multi-time frame analysis, and then I'll just jump into the chat room and hear from you folks and kind of see what's going on. Again, see if there's any altcoins that you folks want to look at. So I've got a big list of stuff that I'm monitoring here for my own trading and for Bitcoin Live and stuff. So there's definitely going to be some that I can talk about. But let's just start out with Bitcoin. And we'll go here on the weekly view. It's just kind of a massive move. A big time consolidation we see back in 2021. We set that initial high, and we dropped back to the weekly SMA 50, right? So we had kind of this consolidation range. We set the peak of the range, and we had that initial lower high break, another lower high break, and then we broke that all-time high, and that kind of set the table for that move back in 2021. And now we've pushed back. We pushed back to kind of that 60K level. We set the peak again, and then we drop back here to the SMA 50. So what's an SMA? It's a simple moving average, equal weighted, right? As opposed to an EMA, an exponential moving average, where you give more price weight to the most recent candle here, in just kind of that initial uptrend mode. The price is using the EMA 8. And then you start like a mean reversion, a consolidation. We drop back to that MA 50. The price found support. We tested these lows multiple times. Bulls stepped in and established demand there right at 30K. For those of you who remember the summer 2021, it was quite a long slog and grind in this consolidation channel. And then we held off the SMA 50. That's important because we'll talk about that here in just a minute. But we pushed higher. We pushed higher and we made a brand new high, right? Pushed higher, made a brand new high, and then we failed to hold it, right? So we had that up thrust, the price rolled over, now kind of underside tests. And what was interesting about what had happened kind of after the 2021 peak was we had that failed breakout. If you remember, we had the failed breakout back up above 46K, which was kind of hinting at continuation at the time. And you can kind of see a little bit better described in the daily chart. But if you go back and you kind of follow my coverage, a lot of people's coverage at the time, we had that failed breakout here at up to 48K, and kind of the failed breakout and dropping back below was like a really bad sign at the time. Great to see all the comments in the chat room. I'll get to those requests in a minute, but keep them coming. So then we had that rollover, and the price rolled over, and right around April of 2022, when the price was right about here at 48K, 42K, a little bit after the failed breakout, I said on Twitter, the move from 12K to 100K is going to be unbelievable. And people thought I was crazy. But it just kind of made sense to me that we would come back. We had failed here. We were going to test the range lows. And breaking that, there was the gap from the 30K to the 20K. And then we kind of set a panic low in that 12 to 14K range. And it kind of did that. We dropped all the way down to 15.5. If you notice, sentiment really, really bottomed hey, what's up, Peter? Hey, Martina, Stefanos, Raul, and Jan, Ash, Kieran, Sakadas. Good to see you, folks. Remember we had that big time sentiment low, right? And then we bounced out of the sentiment low, and we really got that buy signal in January. And I talked about it on Twitter with the recapture of 18.5. So even if you just sold around 40K, you got back into 18.5, done really well, grinding higher. And you see very nicely how the price made a series of throwbacks here, stair-step throwbacks, and then another breakout and continuation. So what I wanted to just briefly touch on, and then I'm going to jump into the altcoin requests, because I kind of want to talk to you folks a little bit more about that, was we held at the SMA 50. So if you look at this advance here, we set this range, we broke out, pause, and then deeper mean reversion to the SMA 50. So it was hard to be bullish here. A lot of people were thinking much, much, much lower, especially in the climate that we had failed to put in a higher low. All right. We had this kind of big time high wave candle here the week of August 5th. And then the price responded with a higher low. And we got our higher low week of September 2nd, again on SMA 50 hold, continued higher. And then we got this kind of lower time frame, 4-hour stair-stepping type action. And just continued grind higher, lower high break, lower high break, lower high break, setting the peak of the range right at 72K, and then boom. So we've been in kind of this primary uptrend mode, kind of an unabated, pure uptrend. I've been watching a lot in the 4-hour, just kind of watching a little bit closer, price at a key level. You can do that, drop to a little bit of a lower time frame. And we'll see what's happening here. It's interesting to see that the price stopped just below 100K, 99.5, right? I mean, that's an unbelievable move. Really, the 15.5 to 99K. I understand there's a loading wall and stuff in the order book. You really you want to try to not look at that stuff too much. For me and for my approach, I really just try to look at the four corners of the chart. I keep sentiment in mind, but it kind of does make sense to have a big loading wall at 100K. People are going to want to accumulate before it goes higher. So it's a question of, are we getting a mean reversion here? And if you look at the rest of the market, it's kind of going wild. And look at XLM's up 50%, which is ridiculous. Even like XVG, really the old kind of laggard, link a little bounce. We've seen DOT. I mean, DOT's unbelievable. We'll cover these a little bit more. But we're seeing BCH breaking out XRP. So we're seeing a lot of moves that you kind of tend to see towards cycle peak on Bitcoin. You don't necessarily see that yet in the Bitcoin price action. And I put out a tweet earlier when I said that Bitcoins or altcoins are trading like Bitcoin's topped, but Bitcoin hasn't shown that weakness yet. So I'm going to update that, of course. And I do the deep dives, as you know, on Bitcoin Live twice a week. And I'll talk about that a lot more next week. We have an event, a sale coming up next week. I'm kind of breaking ground in that. And I'm going to be doing YouTubes pretty much every day, spaces every day. And maybe I'll do more YouTubes going forward. Get back into it, shifting gears. I'm kind of trying to lean back into to what I'm doing here. I'm also working on my next book, The Trading Journal. But let's jump in the chat room. Thank you, Jan. Very nice comment. ADA and FET. Raul want to know ADA and FET. We'll start with ADA. I think you kind of want to start in the weekly time frame with a lot of these coins. ADA had been really just like a real like underperformer. ADA had been just like a super underperformer. And, you had the kind of red light, orange, green when you got the descending supply trend break, lower high break, but then it failed to hold it. And you kind of, the move kind of stuttered out or petered out, no offense to Peter, but up thrust. I mean, just a failed breakout, higher low. Okay, but still, I'm not really interested in underperformers. And then all of a sudden, massive accumulation, lower high break, and then really clearing this high, consequential. So what's notable about ADA is not only it's a catch-up play, it's a super dino coin, I get all that, but this is some nice accumulation here on these weekly candles. Even now, it looks really nice here. on the weekly. Daily looks just fine, grinding higher with the EMA 8. ADA is a market leader right now. Raul, you asked about FET too. Let's take a look at FET. FET, I don't have FET up on my list here. Let's take a look at FET. I hope everybody's doing well. It's great. Thanks for hanging out with me here on YouTube. I don't do YouTube so much, as you know, because I really give it all to Bitcoin Live. I'm doing that twice a week. Maybe I can mess around on here. So what do we think about Fetch? I mean, it's not great. I definitely don't hate it, but you see weakness here, and then a lot of the market has this similar structure, shoulder head, shoulder, but they're kind of trading up here, and this is still unable to clear consolidation range peak. I definitely don't like Fetch as much as ADA in terms of the momentum. If I step back, the longer term trend is quite higher. Is nice. It's quite higher. It's grinding higher. So so that's certainly favorable for Fetch, and you can see kind of on the longer time frames using kind of simple supply and demand horizontal levels. You want to see that 75, 80 cents hold, and 250 here in April, and now kind of grinding here sideways. It's okay, but we haven't seen it really do much over the last couple weeks when other things are really exploding. So kind of the lack of local strength to me is a little bit of a downer, I would say. Stefanos, Fetch. I did Fetch for you. Martina. Hi, Martina. Peter, nice to see you, buddy. I wasn't making fun of you when I said you petered out, but it's good to see you, Peter. Hey, Cheds, Michael. Let's see. I bought at the cherry top 1,000 every week from March 2021. This is Branscombe says this. Reading the comments in the chat. And sold November 22. Yeah. That's okay. It's okay to sell, like to panic sell or to sell, but you should always have a level that would suggest to get back in. And like in Bitcoin, that was the recapture of 18.5. And if you know me, like I was the guy who called for 12K. I was the original guy who called for 12K from 40K. We dropped to 15.5. And I could have just said, oh, I'm going to ignore this buy signal at 18.5, but I didn't because it was clear that the trend was changing. So you always want to, and this comes down to marking out and studying your charts and knowing them, having muscle memory, having the right technique, is you want to always have a level that would suggest that you were wrong and that the trend has changed. So even if you had, sold here in November, you kind of had to get back in at 18.5. And I talked about it live, on Twitter, and ever since then, and I've been uber long since then, obviously. So I would say Branscombe, even if you sell the nut bottom, right? It's okay to buy higher in something you've sold if you're trading with the trend. And that's the whole idea, is you want to be going with the trend, right? Zalco had asked about DOT. Yeah, I mean, what a move. I mean, just unbelievable move for some continuation for kind of any chance at challenging these prior cycle highs, right? 2021, 2022, you're going to need to clear the peak of the range, right around, $9.50, $10. Even now, you could definitely be long. And I put out a tweet actually right around 6.50, and I said, it's time to put this one back on the radar, just on the clear lower high break here. And you're already whatever 30-40% gain from that kind of simple thing. And you don't have to get, and the point is, you don't need to get the entire move. You never need to look at that. I mean, it ran basically 44% from that tweet. You don't need to get the entire move. Who cares? It's not about that. It's not about like riding something the whole way. It's not about playing it perfectly. It's not about that. It's about just a trade opportunity and just profit. Take a little profit, leave some, let it ride, all that good stuff. What you kind of would do with it now, I think, with DOT is I would not do anything if I'm not already in it. I would wait to see a throwback to this range, or I'd want to see it. I'd want to see it recapture kind of that $10 range and give myself kind of a clear level, a risk pivot on the upside. So again, as with my technique, and you know this if you've listened to me, is I do not play in between. I play price at key level. This trade idea has been really fruitful so far. Let's see what everyone's saying. What do I think about SUI? Hey, Loot. Good to see you, buddy. Let's see. SUI. Okay. I think I have it in here somewhere. I know I have SUI in here. It's one of the better. There you go. Yeah, I've been covering this one Bitcoin Live. And this has been a relative strength participant. It's been really strong. grinding higher. I like it quite a bit. It's consolidating here, which is fine. Nice. Look at all this beautiful accumulation. Grinding higher. We take a look at the weekly chart. It's just a beautiful look. I mean, there's no real warning signs in this one. Again, you would probably have to wait to maybe like a test of the 290 range and then maybe like 235, 240 from there. But so far, looks really good. I definitely like SUI. Waiting for the Bitcoin Live Friday. Hey, Stefanos, waiting for the Bitcoin Live Black Friday sale. Yeah, I don't know if I'm supposed to mention it, but I just did. So starting next week, there's going to be a sale. I did DOT already, Zelko. One. I haven't looked at this one. It feels like at least a year. I remember this one. I've been doing this for 7 years, folks. So, yeah, I don't like it. When that's an underperformer. This is a no. This is a no for me, right? Especially in this climate. I think you want to really be picky and careful and selective. I don't care if you think you like the tech, quote unquote, technology, you know, stuff like that. I think you got to go with strength. I think you definitely want to go with strength, folks. So, I don't like one. And by the way, folks, please hit subscribe. Please hit like. You know, I hate saying that stuff, but I mean, that's what you're supposed to do on YouTube, right? So help me out here with the likes and the subscribes, and maybe I'll do more YouTubes like this. Let's see. Thank you, Michael. You had VLO was requested. Let's take a look at VLO. Hope everybody is doing well. Let me know in the chat. Let me know how you're doing, how you're feeling. VLO's okay. It's okay. It's still kind of ranging. It's still kind of grinding in. I don't think you really do anything with it until it can get back up above range peak right around 12 cents. You've got some higher lows. You've got some more aggressive buyers, but it just keeps getting rejected every time in this range. It's okay. I kind of don't like it, but I don't hate it. So it's okay. Definitely not great. Low ball. So Stefanos is asking a low ball buy for Sol to set buy orders. Yeah. All right. I mean, low ball bid, right? 250. I mean, you're definitely setting low ball bids, you know, 185 to 195 range. I think that should be pretty clear just on the prior range peak. A low ball bid is I'm going to talk about this in Trading Wisdom, my book on Amazon. A third of it's for free in my YouTube, which you're here now. I might as well go watch the playlist. A low ball bid is a level where it's so low you don't think it's going to hit. But if it do, oftentimes if it does, especially if it happens with volatility, you're in a nice position because you're kind of buying on a snapback and overextension, maybe a dip below the lower Bollinger, that type of thing. I would really say a low ball to qualify for a low ball would have to be around 185, 190 and sold at this point. Vince, what's my thoughts on Pepe? Pepe. Okay. Here we go. I've got Pepe here. I mean, that's pretty nice. I think it's a beautiful move at his relative strength. Look at this accumulation, grinding higher. I want to see it hold above 1681 Satoshi. Kind of look at on a weekly time frame. It's grinding higher. This one has relative strength. That's a good looking chart. Probably will continue higher. I do like Pepe. Scorn says hello. I say hello, hi. Michael says VLO protocol, the wrong one. I mean, come on. How am I supposed to know what's what? So you want VLO protocol. I don't know the difference. What does that mean? Did I not just do, see, I'm old, right? Is this the one? This the one maybe, I think. Yeah, look at that. I mean, this is not bad. I mean, it's recaptured the 200. You've held here generally on the throwback to July 2024 highs. So it's got some mojo here, but it's pausing. You could use 2 cents as a overhead, or is that 2 cents or 20? It's 2 cents as an overhead trigger as well. It's not bad. I would give bulls a slight edge. So Hong. Question on the Bollinger Band indicators. Indicator using default setting is the default. I am using the default setting on the Bollinger Bands. If you go to my YouTube, you're here. Go to Cheds Trading, you're here. I just said that twice. Go to the masterclass webinar playlist. And I cover all my indicators, why I use them, how to use them. It's really, it's a masterclass. It's some of the best alpha out there. You want to take a look at that. Let's see. Thanks for all the wisdom, Carlos. You're welcome. I haven't been here since the last bull run. Great to have you, Scorn. Great to see you back at YouTube, Hardcore Gamer. Thank you. A few price targets for XLM and Doge. I mean, I don't really like the idea of targets. I think I don't like a target. It takes your focus away from the price. right? You want to be following the price and following the trend. If you focus on a target, you kind of take your eyes away and you might miss something because you're dead set on a target. I mean, I'd say target for XLM is going to be, here in the mid 60s, an area of interest rather than a target. As you can see, the price has tried several times to break through here and been unable to. So, I mean, that's your target. That's where it needs to break, and maybe some initial pausing there, but that's your target. I wouldn't say, oh, target $2. I mean, what's the point of that? Right? If I tell you my target $2 or $3 or $4, you may ignore, you may miss warning signs at key levels. Okay. Thanks for the breakdown, Sue. You're right. You're welcome. I did DOT already. CR. I'll do a couple more, and then I'm going to bounce here. So I can see the requests are stacking up, and I'll try to get through them. But I like to do about a 20-minute, 25-minute stream. Look at that. All right, a little bit of a mojo move here on CRO. Would like to see it hold 16 cents. It's an okay chart overall. Overall, it's okay, but that's some nice accumulation here, even with I'd say the upper shadow featured candle. You're grinding higher. You really want to see it hold above 15 cents. That's going to be that. Let's check back. Sorry, VLO, I did that. Polkadot, I did that. I already did Polkadot, Zelko. Folks, you got to go back and watch Polkadot. Again, I'm going to stop there, folks. Thank you so much. Let's take a look at Bitcoin again just to wrap things up. It's a beautiful, thank you, Peter says, read Cheds books. Thank you. And by the way, I'm working on Trading Journal. Beautiful weekly expansion above the peak of the range off of the weekly SMA 50 hold. If you can see I talked about that back when we were retesting it. That was important. That kind of represented just kind of a deeper mean reversion while still holding the uptrend, lower high breaks, setting the range, 72K and breakout. And the entire weekly candle is above the upper Bollinger. That's kind of ridiculous in terms of how strong it is. The rest of the altcoin market is kind of interesting. A lot of them are kind of going bonkers. They're kind of exploding, especially the Dino coins. That should make you a little bit cautious in Bitcoin. But Bitcoin hasn't really given us price weakness yet. You can say, oh, there's a loading wall at 100K and blah, blah, blah. Yeah. But you still have to give, benefit of the doubt to bulls here. If you want to kind of zoom in here on the 4 hour and you say, okay, potential M top with the trough around 97.4, you can even use that as a long off of this hammer candle, really a hanging man. Hanging man's, by the way, not bearish. It's 58% bullish continuation. You could potentially even, there's ways to play this structure in that you're still going to give bulls the benefit of the edge of the benefit of the doubt, so that if you get a loss and a recapture, that could be a long signal, right? For example, or even just kind of a deeper reversion, even some type of as the Bollinger Bands come, even a dip below the lower Bollinger back to around 92, 93K, that would be very healthy. So I think if we do get a deeper reversion, you want to buy that dip because you're trading with the trend. The weekly trend is still incredibly strong. We don't really have any signs of weakness on Bitcoin yet, other than kind of those alts moving, but you still have to trade just the Bitcoin chart into itself. So Chocolate, what's up? Good to see you, says my G. Thanks you, Peter. Thank you, Martina. Thank you to Michael and Stefanos. And folks, thank you to everybody. It's my honor to be here. Reminder, go to YouTube, watch the masterclass list, watch my Trading Wisdom. By the way, my entire cancer memoir, I was a cancer patient. I'm 7 years cancer-free now, 6 years. And I'm also a caregiver. I took care of my mom, and I wrote about that experience. The whole book is free. It's on Audible, but you get the whole book for free. So watch that playlist on YouTube. If you're really serious about learning how to trade Bitcoin Live, I'm a founding analyst. It's with